closed door testimony and now public testimony. And the Republicans say, no, the identity is very important. Do you think that it is?
No, I think that if you give up that whistleblower, you have now stopped any whistleblower from ever testifying at all or coming forward. And you know, whether you support the president or don't support the president, there isn't any secret, and he keeps no secret, that he is vindictive. I mean, as Melania will tell you, you know, you piss him off, you're in trouble. And so I think that the identity of this particular whistleblower is extremely important to keep.
And I understand that we have a president who has behaved vindictively, and so perhaps that's one reason. And also in general, we don't want to create a chilling effect on whistleblowing. That's why there are whistleblower protection statutes. That's why this person is protected as well. But even beyond just the chilling effect of whistleblowers, do you feel that the actual identity of this person is relevant, given the fact that what this person put into a complaint has been borne out by other testimony?
And but when you're talking about, do you think it's relevant, do you think it's important, what you have to do, it's always a weighing test. Is the probative value of it outweighing the prejudicial effect of it? Right. You know, in this case, we got real public policy reasons why you keep it quiet, and nobody can articulate a reason as to why he needs to testify. What does he bring to the table? It's not enough to say, I think he's important, I want the American public to see him. You have to articulate. You have, in court, you make an offer of proof. This witness will testify to this, I think, right? And you better have a good faith belief that that's what they're going to testify to, or bad things start to happen. It's horrible.
Right. Well, yeah, so the star witness today for the Democrats was Bill Taylor. Why don't we take a look at one of the moments that that really wound up being key to the Democrats' case, and that moment is when he was talking about whether President Zelensky was instructed by Trump or Trump's affiliates to say that he would be investigating Biden on a microphone. Let's take a listen to that. I think we have that sound. Okay, we're going to have that in just a second. But that moment is really one of the linchpins of the Democrats' case. I mean, do you think that hearing Bill Taylor say that today was something that will have a resonant effect with the people who are watching the hearings?
I think Bill Taylor has a resonant effect.
He has a resonant voice. I mean, that voice is really nice.
And who he is and what he's done. And I thought they wasted, why would they wait until the end to tell me just how credible this person is when I've forgotten half of his testimony? You know, I mean, there's only so much we're able to hold. That's why we take notes. Yeah, he's a superb witness. I think he's sincere. I think he honestly thinks there's a serious problem that has to be corrected.
To all of your points, let's take a listen to that testimony now. Perhaps people at home can get a sense of who we're talking about.
President Trump did insist that President Zelensky go to a microphone and say he is opening investigations of Biden and 2016 election interference.
Okay, and we will have one more too about what he told President Zelensky to actually speak on the microphone.
You see how that got lost, though?
Yeah.
The most important thing he had to say, you know, is Trump ordering him to do this, who's the leader of a foreign nation. Very short. They don't go back to it. They don't emphasize it. I mean, that's their case, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah,
you know, I would have asked that question 20 different ways, just in case.
The repetition. I mean, and you know, to some degree, they may be hoping that we're living in this Twitter economy where the clips will be recirculated, and you're trying to create those moments and then circulate those moments. And maybe they felt like they had it. You know, it's possible. But when we get back to this idea of the Democrats making their case, as you said earlier, perhaps today wasn't enough. But if you take the Democrats at their word that today was about telling the story, and that there will be a witness forthcoming that will wind up making this case and make this connection, and again, perhaps that testimony will be next Wednesday, the scheduled testimony with Gordon Sondland. Do you think in that case, if Gordon Sondland says, I was on the phone with President Trump, as he's essentially testified to, and yes, he did say we're withholding these funds for essentially this reason, that quid pro quo, do you think the Democrats have made their case at that point?
You know, when I started this interview, I didn't think so.
Yeah. By
the end of it, when who was it, Welch, who was doing the Democratic issue, when there was the crime. You cannot use, you know, the office of the president to effectuate an election, and there's actually a statute that says that. That was compelling to me. What's not compelling to me is to call it treason or to call it bribery without the elements of those being there. I mean, treason, you're actually accusing the President of the United States of treason? What the hell's the matter with you? I mean, there has to be some solemnity, you know,
solemnity, yeah. Well, you know, I think that there's an ongoing conversation as to whether the element of bribery or how you would define bribery for purposes of this. I mean, by one definition, perhaps it's met. By others, in a more statutory definition, perhaps not. We have 30 seconds left, so I'm just going to ask you a quick question you can answer in essentially one word or name. Who's the big winner from what you saw today?
I think the Democrats.
The Democrats.
You know who the big loser is?
Who's the big loser?
Biden. And you have to ask, is that possibly the intent?
Wow, you're playing a deep game with that. There was actually conversation like that around the Watergate hearings as well, the inside politics and perhaps taking one candidate down in the process. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate having you.
Thank you.
Really wonderful to have you. Hope to do more of this. There'll be lots more coming up with this impeachment inquiry, and we'll be covering all of it here on Spectrum News 1. Stay with us. We'll have much more coming up in just a few. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Really great. Yeah, it was wonderful to have you. I appreciate you coming because we. In just a moment, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.